Welcome to bANTer with Debbie. How are you feeling, Debbie, this week?
Oh, giddy, Ant.
Giddy?
How are you?
I've got the COVIDs.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had an anal swab, and I've tested positive for the COVIDs. And if I would have had a vaccine, it would have been so much better, probably.
Well, do you know I've got a box of tissues? Do you need them?
I do actually. So I apologise
the
for
tissues?
anyone now that
I've
listens
got
to me
tissue too, but
sniffling
I
and
haven't got the credit.
snorting.
I'm waiting for my test result to come back.
I was went out yesterday with Lou for a brief moment because she's been in a lot of pain this week, but she was like, she needed to get out for a bit, So we went to a charity shop. So I bought you a little gift. Hope you like it. This. Do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
Isabel Oakshott. Oh, Isabel Oakshott.
Yeah.
Isn't she the other half of Richard Tice?
I think so, but these are and he's like man of the people. He's a man of the people, isn't he? I'm sure that's going to be a very on the ball case of what happened during 2020.
It's funny, because I was saying all along that no diaries had actually been written during COVID. People had deleted Zooms and deleted Google documents and pretty much burnt the whole history, which is why we mustn't ever forget COVID.
We mustn't.
Matt Hancock, where is he going to pop up next? Maybe he's going to be on a book signing. Maybe he's coming to Cornwall to do a book signing, perhaps on a surfboard. What do you think?
We've got the King coming close on Monday. I think he's coming to Lancashire on Monday. Anyway, we can talk about the King because he's been doing it. He's been going out and about this week.
Yeah, he has.
So I've got a couple of clips of the King
turning a blind eye to what's going on in the family.
Well, what has been going on in the family? What's been going on this week? I mean, can't ignore Epstein, I don't think, Debbie. I know we've had Epstein stuff on before in the past. It's really hit home this week, hasn't it? With the UK, with Starmer, Chairman Starmer. He's
hanging on, isn't he? He's hanging on by his fingertips on the edge of the cliff, and you see all these Labour ministers kind of like pushing him off the edge of the cliff, but he's hanging on. Is he going to stay or is he going to go?
Well, breaking news. Yeah, he's still Prime Minister for now. For now.
Well, they thought he was going to go by 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and they said now that, many commentators are saying not a chance he's going to hang on in there, because people are going, no, because if he goes, that means Lammy's going to be in charge, and nobody wants that. And then other people are saying, well, if the Labour ministers, if the front benchers, if they will start to rebel, then he'll have no choice. He'll literally have no choice. Is his time up? I mean, we all know that he's been put in as a puppet for a specific amount of time. So my question is his time up?
I don't think he's going to survive this one, I'll be honest.
How can he? Yeah, but you see, I know we're going to come on to Mandelson in a minute, but Mandelson's getting so much attention. Is Mandelson going to be arrested by the police? Is Mandelson going to face charges? Is Mandelson going to be up for this, that, and the other? And yet, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince, he's hiding in Wood Farm, I believe, in Sandringham. More to come on Andrew perhaps later, but it's like, gosh, there's a lot going on, and I've got a feeling other big political names are going to come out too. Blair Witch Project, just saying.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said. I think this is, in seriousness though, this is an extremely serious matter that keeps rearing its head, and why shouldn't it not rear its head? But I do think it gets used as well to distract people from various other things, or they will use other things to distract people from what's going on with the list itself. Because let's be honest, this list has been going the rounds for quite a while on the internet. What happens though, Debbie? What actually happens? We've only ever had 2 alleged arrests, and that's Epstein himself and Ghislaine Maxwell. Why has nobody ever been arrested?
Very good question. I mean, everybody knew it's the biggest secret that everybody knew and nobody was going to ever admit to. It's come out now, and we've got rats and sinking ships with all these people. They're going to slip off like the COVID lot did, like everybody that
It's
was
the
in
same.
charge then, in control. It like Matt Hancock, like
Exactly.
June Rain. Where have they gone? They've all slipped off
Yeah.
very nicely and are having very nice lives in whichever bunker they happen to be in. But nothing happens, and this is it. We're saying all of this terrible stuff, and we're seeing this sugar. This has got to be, people have compared it to the Profumo scandal, and people are saying that this is the biggest. This is bigger than the Profumo scandal, and that this is the biggest political scandal of our time for sure. And I agree. And for that, heads must. I mean, this is crime at the highest level, on both fronts. The amount of the crime that's been committed, the sex trafficking, and goodness knows what else has gone on. I mean, we're finding more out every single day, and also the people that have been involved in this ring, because this isn't just a little ring. This is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I know that we're focusing on the UK a lot with the royal family and Mandelson and all the rest of it. But we've got to look at other figures like Bill Clinton. Trump's been mentioned.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Oh, yeah, he regrets it. I bet you do, Bill. Melinda Gates. I'm standing back from it. I bet you are. So we have got a lot of American names, and there are more names to come. However, there are still 3 million pages, apparently, that they're not going to release. So who are they protecting? Who is in those papers? We'll never know. We'll never know.
They're only going to show what they want people to see. They've spent a long time with these papers. There's millions of documents, apparently. So they've redacted and spent time redacting what they need to redact. They're only going to show what they want to show and create enough tension
and distraction.
And then nothing ever happens.
No,
nothing ever happens. Like you said, Matt Hancock, why has nothing ever happened? Chairman Starmer will leave, but he will just go into another position somewhere else. People forget about him.
But if you put a social media tweet out, you'll get arrested and banged up for goodness knows how long.
That's right.
That's what they're creating. Another, what is it, 5,000 prison spaces? And for major crime. Well, what's major crime now? Obviously not paedophilia. Obviously not sex trafficking. Obviously not the disclosure of national secrets. So obviously that's not a punishable offence, and they can just slip off and make tons of money. I mean, Mandelson, all of them will be making tons of money. Epstein, what surrounds his death? Did he kill himself? Really? I don't think so.
No.
Personally.
Well, I don't personally. I mean, we're not going to ever really know, are we, what's going on there? Before we get started properly into this, though, I want to invite people that are watching as well, and yourself, Debbie. I thought we'd do a bit of an experiment on this live today, something a bit different. So I want to prove to people, and some people who are watching this will have used this AI software. I want to prove how powerful AI is, and how it's changing things, and not for the better by any stretch. And
hang on, can I ask you a question then?
Yeah.
Because you told me that you were going to do something and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Is that COVID Pandemic Diaries? Is that real?
Yeah, that's real. That's an actual real book. Yeah. That was.
I thought that was what I thought you'd concocted that up, and I thought that was AI. Is it real?
That's a real book. Yeah. That was in the charity shop.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I nearly bought it for you, but I think it was 50p too much for me.
Wow. I actually thought you were joking, because I didn't know of that book. I actually thought you were joking, and I thought it was an AI image that you'd created. So carry on.
That's a real book. But what I want to do, just for this experiment now, we're going to get AI to write us a song. Okay, and produce a song, sing a song, put everything together, and it's going to happen within minutes. Okay. So to make this work, though, we need everyone's help, because each of us will put down what we want the song to be about. Now, I was thinking we're going to move into change our thing to Camp 3. So I think this song could be about Camp 3. It could have things like, yourself in there, Debbie Evans. You could put Gobby Granny in there. Put myself in there if you like. But it'd be nice if some of the audience that are watching right now just throw some messages up there that you want in the song as well. I'll get AI to be working on it. We'll crack on with the stories, and then when it's finished, we'll put it up.
Right.
Okay. So I was thinking we could do it in a say a genre of a rock ballad.
Okay.
And I'm just typing it out into this AI thing at the moment. Okay, so you can see I'm typing. So a genre of a rock ballad, titled Camp 3, including Debbie Evans, nicknamed the Gobby Granny, and Ant Critchley. Has anybody else got anything on there? So what have we got here? Del Bigtree did something like this. So well, we're going to have a go at this now. So, okay, someone's put a chorus of ooh matron. Okay, let me add that then. We would like the chorus to be matron. Ooh matron. Okay.
Tender loving care everywhere. Do you like that?
Tender loving care
everywhere. Yeah, I'm a big TLC advocate.
Add the line. Tender loving care everywhere.
Everywhere. Bit of TLC.
Please add that the song should be about current affairs, authentic media.
Yeah. Honesty, integrity, hard work.
Honesty,
discussion, debates.
And
discernment.
News.
Due diligence, news.
Well, let's put what we got here.
Blogs, lounge.
Joanne wants Memphis horn style brass section. Okay, let's.
Crikey, Joanne.
Let's let me just put that in. Add Memphis style horn section. What have we got here? Mention National Harm Service. That's Lou. So let's put that in.
Scrap the app.
Oh, you guess what? I've only just deleted it all.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, folks, this is live.
You can tell this is live.
Authentic. Yeah. This is authentic media. This is the real stuff. It's completely live.
Oh, bear with me. I'm going to type this out really, really fast. In fact, let me share my screen and you can actually see what I'm doing, and then that makes it easier. Okay, and you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So we're going again.
Right.
So we're going to do a rock ballad about Camp 3 with Debbie Evans, the Gobby Granny, and Ant Critchley, discussing authentic media news and bringing truth
and authenticity. Authentic. Oh yeah, you've got authentic.
Yeah, I've got that. We want, what was it? Memphis horn section, was it?
Yeah. And ooh matron.
And ooh matron as the chorus. What was it that Lou said?
We did some of the messages we've got. A scrap.
Mention National Armed Service.
National Harm Service. Deranged fuzz guitar solo. Oh yeah.
A deranged fuzz guitar solo.
Hey Joanne, my son is a rock guitarist, a very, very good one too. Check out King Creature on YouTube. So he is a rock guitarist, genuinely.
The line about
Love a bit of guitar. Love a bit of guitar.
Can't spell now. Trying to do it as quickly as possible. And we'll leave this running in a bit, and then we'll crack on.
Yeah.
Liars, thieves, and pants on fire.
Liars, crooks, and thieves. Oh, that's a good line. You can almost. I've got a tune in my head. What's the song where it's? I think it might be Jolene. But I can hear the tune. Liars, crooks, and thieves.
I'm going to hit create. It's going to start building that now. Okay, and I'm going to come back to the screen. We're going to crack on with the show while that's doing that, and we'll get on with this. Mandelson.
Right. Mandelson. Oh.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, there. I don't know. Obviously, we only know so much, right, Debbie? But I think this guy is very, very important to Labour. Labour wanted him in very much so, to the point where Starmer, and they were supposed to do their due diligence, but in this web of deceit that goes on, be it at the very top or the middle, or even at the lower ends of society, these webs of deceits go on, and they've not done the due diligence, or they've ignored the due diligence. They know what Mandelson was up to his neck in, for sure. And we've got
He's admitted it. Starmer's admitted he knew before he appointed as a US ambassador. He's admitted it.
Okay, well, I've got some receipts. Let's start off with Karma, who happily, would be pushing Mandelson, because he obviously was a friend of his, I think.
Yeah, they're all mates. It's all part of the same old boys network.
It is. Well, let's play this.
But to us, he's just Peter. And Peter is the right person to help us work with President Trump. But to us...
Is he the right person for us to work with President Trump?
No. I mean, the thing is, what they're taking it back to now is that it was his advisor that advised Mandelson. And that Keir Starmer really wanted to appoint George Osborne. That was his preferred choice. But Starmer's now saying he kind of got taken in a little bit, and he went along with the flow, and that's how Mandelson. But I mean, they're all in it. They're all in it together. It's absolutely disgusting. And this is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it will continue to get big. This is the story that keeps on giving, and it's not going to go away in a hurry. It's really not going to go away. Gypsies, tramps, and thieves. Thank you so much. That was driving me a little bit mad. Yes, thank you. You're right.
And David, yeah, I think they've got things on each other. I think this is like the blackmail situation is just, it's everywhere, and they're not going to give up on blackmail either. So they'll throw Mandelson, they'll throw the Clintons
under the bus.
They're no use to them anymore.
No, exactly. I mean, this, we're now talking Epstein, Russia, Mossad. We knew about. I mean, this is huge. This is massive. Can you imagine the amount of stuff that Epstein must have accrued over the years? Peter Mandelson in his underpants, Andrew in a very compromising position, looking almost demonic straight at the camera, knowing that the picture is being taken. I mean, these are the scapegoats. What lies beneath is even bigger. But will we ever get to that? Will we? How deep does it go?
How deep does it go? Indeed. Well, there's some more receipts before we dig deep into it, because Lammy, as there's a receipt on Lammy as well. I think it's important to show these in a way, because while they're covering their tracks now, the Libel lot, let's see what they actually were saying about Mandelson.
Peter Mandelson is a man of considerable expertise. He's the right man for this moment to be our ambassador. He's been a business secretary, a Northern Ireland secretary. Of course, he's worked in the European Commission, and he brings all of that to bear working as our ambassador in the United States. And of course, he's looking forward to presenting his credentials to Donald Trump. Peter Mandelson.
Yes, of course, Lammy.
This is the man that's going to step up when Keir Starmer gets pushed off the cliff. That's the next prime minister, folks.
He's one of the run-ins, isn't he? There's Lammy. They're on about Angela Rayner's ranked high again, and yet she's just been chucked out.
But she's still got a tax evasion scandal over her head. Wes Streeting, that's another one. But Wes Streeting was a prodigy of Mandelson, and Wes Streeting's turning around going, oh, I never knew about all of this. Yes, of course you did, Wes. Of course you did. Just fess up and say.
Well,
I mean, he's like that with Mandelson, Wes Streeting. So, of course, Andy Burnham's been kicked out of the running. So, mind you, I've met Andy Burnham, not impressed. I've had an hour face-to-face at Portcullis House with Andy Burnham, not impressed. But there's nobody, this is the uni party. There's no one to take over. But that's your next prime minister if anything happens to Starmer.
Well, look, that's a tweet that Wes Sterling has deleted.
Wes Streeting, yeah.
He's deleted that now.
Has he now?
Yeah.
I bet he has. They're all wanting to distance themselves now, aren't they? It's like Bill Gates saying he regrets it. I'm sure he does now. He regrets being caught. All of these people are regretting being caught. And now the story's the cover-up.
Well, you've got, other cover-ups. Darren Jones. He's people that seem to be deleting the praise for Peter Mandelson, but the Darren Jones, there's a receipt for him there. I mean, Alistair Campbell's another one. Praises these guys or this guy.
Of course they do. Of course they do. They have to. It's all part of the plan. They're all in it until it suddenly becomes embarrassing, and then they will step back.
Yeah, and there's loads of questions back in even in 2025. Let's have a look at it. 2025, where an interview with Mandelson on Sky News, I think it is. Talking about his connections with Epstein. So how can they even bring a guy like this in the first place?
They've been sacked twice.
In June 2009, did you stay at the apartment in Manhattan of Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm not answering any questions about him.
He was in jail at the time for soliciting prostitution from a minor.
And my knowledge of him is something that I regret. I wish I'd never met him in the first place.
Why did you have an association with him? Because he was in jail at the time.
Why did many people meet him? He was a prolific networker, and I wish I'd never met him in the first place.
He's been very, very prickly about the subject. I mean, I can tell you that when James Matthews asked that question to Lord Mandelson, that was back in May. You played it a few moments ago. That was when Mandelson was leaving an event where he'd done a speech about Britain's relationship with the United States. Now, justifiably, because it was an issue then, as it clearly is now, we wanted to ask him about his relationship with Epstein, and so James did. And the consequence of that, and we should, it's important to stress this, the consequence of that is that I know that Peter Mandelson was deeply angry that we had even had the audacity to ask that question, and for several months after that, our relationship with Britain's embassy here and with officials there was very, very difficult. So that's telling. More than that, back in February, just before he became ambassador, the Financial Times again asked him about his relationship with Epstein. And his response on the record to the Financial Times was that Epstein was an FT obsession and that the Financial Times should just F off. So you get a sense there of how sensitive Lord Mandelson was about this issue.
I think this guy is massively important.
It's huge. He's absolutely huge.
Massively important.
Hugely important. Hugely important. As is, which we'll probably get onto later, but as is in all of this, Sarah Ferguson and Andrew.
Yeah.
Because they were the royals that introduced Epstein into the elite society, gave him loads of contacts, inroads into everything. You know, Andrew and Sarah were greedy, always been greedy, always looking for the limelight, money, 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 tons of it. Fergie's been up to her neck in debt for goodness knows how long, and they were they introduced Epstein, and they were seen, you know, in the circle. Oh well, if the royal family are there, then, you know, and politicians were seeped in, and celebrities and all the rest of it. It's wicked. It's so shocking. I think it's almost too big to really comprehend.
I think it is. I think it is. Apparently, though, Keir Starmer, or should I say Chairman Starmer? Sorry, Chairman. Chairman Starmer has given the police evidence now of the alleged leaking of confidential government information. And the evidence includes unredacted emails containing sensitive economic information sent by Mandelson to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, there was MP Emily Thornberry was another legend in the
blue blood Emily.
Yes, of course. Well, we've got to have the blue bloods running the show, haven't we? Yeah. How could we not have the blue bloods? Let's listen to her though, because she talks something about tunnels, which I was surprised at an MP to bring up, to be honest with you. But let's see what this says.
Profoundly distressed by it. It is so scandalous, taking advantage of like if you're in the cabinet and you're essentially acting on behalf of people abroad against your own government, passing on secrets like, oh, the Prime Minister's about to resign, I finally persuaded him to, talking about secret tunnels under, you know, from number 10. I mean, this is profoundly
secret tunnels under number 10.
Not so secret now, but then, you know, what's fascinating about number 10 very, very quickly is that in my day when I was growing up, you could walk up to the doors of number 10. You know, school children would walk up. You could knock on the door of number 10. You could literally get there. And then all of a sudden there was these barriers and goodness knows what. But I did some voluntary work and I was invited to number 10 to have lunch with John Major back in 1991. Yeah. And as a child, I'd always stood outside the door. So it was a bit of a thing having to go all through the barriers. This was back in 1991. This was a lunch. And I had to go all through security, all through the barriers. But what I found fascinating with number 10 is when you walk, you think it's in a terraced house, right? It's not. It's really not. So you walk in and you've got the checkerboard flooring, raised eyebrows, and then you've got this winding staircase with an oak banister. It's quite it's a very modest staircase. It's not a sweeping staircase. And I was walking up it, the carpet is almost threadbare, or at least was, and it's like, gosh, who's walked up these stairs? And you'd see all the portraits of every single prime minister along the wall. So Winston Churchill, Margaret Thatcher, they were all there. And you get to the top of the stairs, and what you think is a room, you open these doors and it is this massive, huge banqueting room. I mean, you think from the outside it's a terraced house. It's not. You're talking 10 Downing Street is the whole terrace. So the whole of the top is pretty much huge function rooms, like you would expect to see in a palace, that big, you know, chandeliers right in the middle, the whole lot. You've got the cabinet room, which is also quite big, right at the back of Downing Street. But if you imagine the way that they've made the whole terrace almost one, I believe, so that there's interconnections between the whole terrace, you can imagine what there is underneath. And I know that there's plenty of underground tunnels underneath the Houses of Parliament. I also know that in the city, when I worked at Bart's, it was an absolute rabbit warren. We used to go underground under Little Britain to get into main Bart's Hospital, and it was like a rabbit warren. When I worked at Harrods, you could get to the other side of Brompton Road into Hyde Park through tunnels that were underneath Brompton Road, all through Knightsbridge. So the subterranean network in London is huge. So am I surprised that there are tunnels? Absolutely not. And we know that in this super Chinese embassy that is going to be situated in the old Royal Mint location right next to the Tower of London. How convenient. That's got a load of tunnels as well, straight to the City of London. That's why they're worried that the Chinese are going to have some form of access to all of the electrical infrastructure and internet infrastructure to the city. There's more underground than there is above, I think. It's like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, definitely. I think they've been given the keys to the city, though, Debbie. I think they're
of course
welcome to it, aren't they? Do you think that Starmer did his due diligence, though? He says he did.
Ridiculous.
Let's listen to it for a little bit.
Why you appointed Peter Mandelson in the first place to this job, when in essence all the facts that we now know we knew when you did the appointment. It's just that there's been some sort of lurid headline-grabbing language that we've seen since.
Peter Mandelson, before he was appointed, went through a due diligence process. That's the propriety and ethics team went through a process, and therefore I knew of his association with Epstein. But had I known then what I know now, I'd have never appointed him. Because
you reckon?
Of course not. Of course not. Oh, do you know what? It's just, I mean, due diligence, talking due diligence. So I don't know if you've got it, but I did a bit of due diligence on Peter Mandelson, and it seems the signs were there from college days. I mean, his family were members of the Communist Party, I believe. His mother and, well, I mean, we found a clip, didn't we? So
yeah, we'll put that on in a minute.
The signs are all there. Of course he knew. Of course, Keir Starmer, he knew everything. Look, his name's been associated with Epstein himself. I don't know how much of it is right or wrong, but crikey, we've got Blair. I listened to Andrew Loney quite a lot because he comes out with a lot of stuff, and he said, Blair, there are big question marks obviously around Blair, but because Blair is so litigious, everyone's too scared to say anything. And of course, his wife Sherry is a KC, a very high-ranking barrister and judge. So, Tony Blair is very protected, but there are going to be more names that come out.
But wealthy, powerful people can do that, Debbie. Unfortunately,
of course they can. Wealthy, powerful people can.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's how. That's how it affects the common man, though, and because the common man couldn't carry through something like that, unfortunately. So that would stop any truth getting out, and that's a real problem in this society. You know that when Starmer came into office, and I'm not going to say power, because I'm going to say office, because they're just puppets, these guys. But Mandelson apparently had brokered a big 240 million deal. And I think it was with bANTer.
Surprise!
Is that a shock? So the first people, one of the first people that actually came to visit Starmer, in them was Gates and Larry Fink. So all this linkage going on with these big tech guys and pharma guys.
It goes on and on and on. Bill Gates. Where do we start with Bill Gates? Jeff Bezos, Sam Altman, Zuckerberg, Larry Fink, Larry Ellison. Let's not forget Ellison and Oracle. It stinks. In my opinion, we're being run by a bunch of organized criminals. Worse than that, it's satanic. It's wicked.
It is absolutely wicked. I've always said though that government is mafia.
100%.
It's just mafia in posh suits, really.
I think there's a number of mafias. I think there's it's like, I know we'll come to talk about it later, the camps, camp 1, camp 2, camp 3. I think there's a mafia 1, mafia 2, mafia 3, mafia 4. I think there's mafias all over the place. And that's the problem. We don't know which mafia is in control of all the other mafias, because the pyramid goes on and on and on. Where does it stop?
It does indeed. He's had some grilling this week, though, Starmer. Do you feel sorry for him?
No.
Okay, let's play a little bit of some of the grilling he's had in Parliament this week.
The humble address in a moment, but the Prime Minister cannot blame the process. He did know it was on Google. If the Conservative Research Department could find this information out, why couldn't Number 10? On the 10th of September, when we knew this, I asked him at that dispatch box, he gave Mandelson his full confidence at that dispatch box, not once, but twice. He only sacked him after pressure from us. I am asking the Prime Minister something very specific, not about the generalities of the full extent. Can the Prime Minister tell us, did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
So clear. Prime Minister.
Yes, it did. As a result, various questions were put to him. I intend to disclose to this House all of the national security, prejudice to international relations on one side. I want to make sure this House sees the full documentation, so it will see for itself the extent to which time and time again Mandelson completely misrepresented the extent of his relationship with Epstein and lied throughout the process.
Did he? Do you think Mandelson was the liar?
Where do we start on that one? But did you notice where's Lammy?
I didn't notice.
He wasn't on the front bench, but the gravity of the situation clearly showed on Rachel from Accounts and who was on the front bench, but David Lammy wasn't there. And you know what? There was a part of that speech where Keir Starmer's hands were shaking so much. He actually, I mean, one hand was shaking so much, he actually had to hold his other hand still, and he had to put his hand down to stop himself shaking.
I've got a close-up of that right now. So let's have a look at that. And you know, this is not me to attack any man or woman or anything like that, but who gets under pressure. This is not about that. But this is a guy whose policies and his lies are damaging millions of people, and are going to continue as digital ID and bANTer and all these dodgy deals that are going on at the moment is going to destroy people's lives. So I have no sympathy.
No.
None at all. Anyway, here's his hands.
But can I reassure the House, Mr. Speaker? Let me reassure the House. The process for deciding what falls into those categories will not be a political process. It will be led by the Cabinet Secretary, supported by government legal teams. But can I reassure...
There you go. We've dropped out again, Ant. Where did we go?
I'm back.
There you are.
And swap you back over. I know it's a bit strange how it does that. However, yeah, I'm not here to pick on people. I don't want to, you know. But this is a guy who's causing so much pain and suffering,
and will continue to. I'm afraid. I mean, you know, we're looking at this person, Starmer. And clearly this was all an engineered plan. He knew absolutely everything. And let's not forget, you know, his role. He was Director of Public Prosecutions, wasn't he? He was, I mean, he's a barrister himself. He follows policy. He follows protocol. It stinks. Oh, come on, it stinks. The whole thing stinks. And it looks as though, I mean, I don't know whether he'll hang on. Some people are saying he'll hang on. Some people are saying he's got to go. I don't see how he can hang on, to be honest.
I think he's going to go soon.
But who's going to replace him? We're going to be in then for a leadership contest, are we? But in the meantime, as we're kind of like on the precipice of war, is Blair going to be flown in? Because I've been waiting for ages for Blair to be flown in, like Cameron was flown in before. Because we're going to need, if we're going into a state of war, which by the day it looks as though we probably are, we're going to need a very strong leader. And Starmer doesn't have the confidence of his own ministers and his own party, let alone the public.
There's no leaders there.
No, exactly. So who's going to lead us into war?
Oh God,
because literally that whoever is Prime Minister is going to lead us into a war situation. And all I can think is that Blair is warming up, if he's not too busy on the Gaza peace board, he's warming up in the background, or is perhaps Nigel Farage? I don't know.
They're all
But
idiots.
we've got no leader. We're rudderless at the moment. We have no captain at the helm. We've nobody. And our country is being laughed at, ridiculed. We're being told we're weak, and we are. So
where are we? Yeah.
What kind of example are we showing to the rest of the world? Absolutely none. And we don't have a leader. It's as simple as that. And we've become a third world country, in my opinion.
Well, let's look at our leader whose soul left his body during Prime Minister's question times. Literally.
If that was really the case, then he wouldn't mind if the ISC had a look. And let's be clear, he says the Cabinet Secretary makes it non-political, but that doesn't make it independent. What we want is an independent look. The ISC is independent. The Cabinet Secretary works for him. We know that there will be a cover-up because this implicates the Prime Minister and his Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, a protege of Peter Mandelson. The Prime Minister chose to inject Mandelson's poison into the heart of his government.
And he did.
He absolutely did. And they're saying, you know, Morgan McSweeney, he's going to be the first to go because he was the one that kept pushing Mandelson's name. Whereas Keir Starmer's saying, well, you know, I get that he's probably a good personality because he's charmer for the job, but I would prefer to have George Osborne. So he's gonna throw Morgan McSweeney under the bus first, I'm sure. But it's not going to stop. I don't think the public are going to be happy with that. I don't think the Labour Party will be happy with it. They'll want to see Starmer gone.
Yeah, and he's throwing out lies as well. You know, he's basically he's saying he sacked Peter Mandelson after he found out, which he didn't. You know, we're getting gaslit regarding Mandelson being a spy for Russia, or Epstein being a spy for Russia. We're getting gaslit with that when I think it goes deeper than any of that anyway. I'm not saying that Russia don't play any part, because I think all nations play parts in all sorts of web. It's all a dirty entanglement. It's all dirty stuff, and it's us that get trampled on constantly. You know, and the Met Police apparently have issued a statement urging the government to avoid publishing certain documents, specific documents regarding Epstein and Mandelson. So what are they hiding?
I don't know who rules who. I'm a bit confused. You know, is it the government? The police always say that they're following government policy. And the government always say we have to leave it to the police to do their investigation. So now the police are advising the government, and the government are listening to the police over and above anybody else. Is that what we're suggesting? I don't know. I find that difficult to comprehend.
I'd have to look deeper into some of the information that I found this morning, and I sent it to you, Debbie. I'd have to look deeper into it, but it seems like there's links with Mandelson and China as well, and I don't think that's getting spoke about in any of the mainstream. But again, I don't think we should be ignoring these connections, to be honest with you, because it concerns me with the way that the UK is being normalized into what seems to be a communist kind of way of living, the way we're being moved about. I have a big concern about that for my kids' future. And like you said, you sent me a link, and we'll play that, where Mandelson was a communist. So let me just find that, and we'll play that as well, because nobody's talking about this either, are they?
No, nobody. Literally nobody. If you haven't seen this clip, if anybody's seen this clip on any other media outlet, do let me know, because I haven't.
Okay, let's play it.
Just as his mother and his grandfather had in their youth, Mandelson embarked on a flirtation with far-left politics. Howland Mandelson joined the Young Communist League.
Peter and I would go up to Kilburn tube station, which at that time on a Friday night was a fairly rough and ready place. and hand out leaflets, sell papers. Sometimes someone would stand up and make a speech. Peter and I standing there, two young middle-class school kids selling the Morning Star, must have been a curious sight.
We revealed his past identity to those working the same beat 30 years later.
Mandelson. That's utterly astonishing. Anyone of his type could even think about selling the Morning Star. Look what he's become. That was the last person I thought of.
This was.
Yeah.
Look what he has become, eh? Never a truer word was spoken. Look what he's become.
I know.
Nobody seems to be picking that up. You know, he was selling the Morning Star, folks. He was selling the Morning Star. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And leopards don't always change their spots. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but the signs were there from very early on. And if we look at his connections and the ones that you've just shown there, you have to say to yourself, is Peter Mandelson a communist? Is he working with China? And on top of that, is he giving I mean, this is a national security. This is national secrets. Is he willingly being paid and given? Is he a spy, basically? Is he giving our national secrets to China? And people turn around to me and they go, oh, there's nothing to see in China. China's a lovely place. There's nothing going on. Yeah, there is. And anybody that's telling you there isn't needs to just have a bit more discernment and do a bit more research, because there's plenty going on in China and there's plenty marching from the east towards the west. We need to be taking note. But this is a huge matter of national security. But the signs, as you can clearly see, were there from early on.
100%. It can't be ignored.
No.
It can't be ignored. I've got loads and loads and loads of stuff on this Epstein thing, and we're not going to have the time to go through it, unfortunately. We just haven't got the time. But you know, Andrew is obviously up to his neck in it. I mean, when Andrew was interviewed, do you remember that interview? That was like pre-COVID, the way I didn't sweat kind of interview. It was just before. COVID was such a great moment for him, because nobody talked about Andrew then, did they? You know,
it went quiet.
Didn't it just go quiet? You know, and they can't ignore the fact there's pictures of him with an individual who's just still on the floor.
I know, isn't that worrying?
Very, very unnerving.
Because it's like they're still because of fear. You know, you have to ask yourself what was going on in that picture, because it's just shocking. They can't wriggle their way out of it. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince, I think he's going to go into exile. I think he's going to go off. He's got tons of money. People say that he hasn't got any money. He's got a lot of money. He inherited from
he inherited
from the Queen Mother. He also inherited from his mother. And he's had trust. And when he was business envoy, I've always said, you know, Andrew Loney has always said that he's been trying to get through Freedom of Information's what was going on whilst Andrew was UK business envoy. And there's no information. At first it was going to be put on hold for like 10 years, and now it's 75 years, and no one will reveal what is going on. And also the royal family, their wills are sealed, so the public never get to see their wills. So you don't know how much private money they've got. But I can assure you, Andrew is rumoured to have a lot of money, unlike his wife, Sarah Ferguson. And Sarah Ferguson was just as involved in this, by the look of it.
She was friends with him.
As her husband.
Was Epstein? She was friends with him.
She called, I believe, I watched something that said that she called Epstein like her brother.
That's right.
You know, she was very, very, very close to him. I'm not quite sure how close. I'm not sure if there was any relationship, intimate relationship with Epstein.
They're up to all sorts, though, Debbie. Who knows what goes on?
I mean,
sordid,
she was living at his Manhattan apartment block for absolutely ages. She used to spend a huge amount of time with him. And you mustn't forget that whatever Andrew is the member of the royal family, right? So he's maybe a little bit more less able to talk. But Sarah Ferguson, she's been there right from the get-go. The Diana years, Diana and Charles, all that went on there, every single little bit of gossip that's gone on and scandal that's gone on behind closed doors that the public don't know about, she does. So, and she's greedy, she needs money, and it looks as though her daughters are distancing themselves from their mother and father. Although, why was Princess Beatrice at Davos? We missed that one this year, didn't we? But she very discreetly ended up in Davos. So the connections are still there, and the girls, I think they're trying to protect the girls, but their names are going to come out as grifters as well. So the whole Andrew Sarah thing, that story's going to run and run. However, as vile as I think Andrew is and everything that he got up to, and his ex-wife Sarah, I do think that he and Mandelson are being scapegoated as well, thrown under the bus when there is actually an awful lot that we don't know about. And things are starting to emerge. But with the royal family, I mean, wow, you know, you've got the scandals with the Yorks, you've now got the scandal with the Sussexes, and there was talk about Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, being involved with the whole Epstein thing as a yacht girl. Was she a yacht girl? Wasn't she a yacht girl? What are the photographs of her on the yacht? And there's also alleged reports that she was involved with Prince Andrew before she met Prince Harry. Now, this is coming from reputable sources, you know, reputable authors, historians, barristers. So this isn't just coming from some, you know, social media one post, artificial intelligence post. This is coming from a lot of sources. So the connections get bigger and bigger and bigger. So you've got this massive problem in the royal family at the moment, where you've got the Yorks and the Sussexes. But of course, the Yorks, they've always been greedy. You know, those of us that are old enough to remember Sarah Ferguson, and when Andrew got married, it was all sort of ha ha ha, blustery, blustery. I'm jolly fun. I'm this, I'm that. This very amicable Sarah Ferguson bounced like Tigger into all of our lives. But they were greedy, which made them a target for somebody like Epstein. If you're going to get into the royal family, you're going to choose the weakest link. And at the time, it would appear that the weakest and the greediest links were Sarah and Andrew.
Well, the king had good friends with Sir Jimmy Savile, though. So the web is massive.
Jimmy Savile, that's one. Then you've got Lord Mountbatten, that's two. Then you've got your brother Andrew, that's three. Then you've got your sister-in-law Sarah Ferguson, that's four. Then you've got Lawrence Vanderpost, deceased, who was Prince William's godfather, who's also a paedophile. So the whole royal family is surrounded and also kind of like a little bit sleazy. You know, you go back to Charles wanting to be Camilla's tampon, and I've got a lot more to say about the royal family, and a lot more to say
mouth then.
Oh no, seriously. And I've got a lot more to say about relatives of the royal family and how they are implicated. And I mean, we're talking all sorts of clubs and islands and nightclubs as well. So there's a lot more to reveal about the royal family. So
There's an awful lot. There's some of the people are kind of pushing back, though. This was the other day. You know,
I saw that.
So that, you know, at least some people are trying to make statement.
And people are asking him questions, you know, when he's appearing publicly, they're asking him questions, but he's just pretending to just carry on as normal, and he's ignoring. I think it's only Prince Edward that has actually come out and spoken publicly about it when he was abroad. And he said that, you know, he was very sad for the victims, and that our thoughts must be with the victims. So he was trying to get out of it that way, but he's the only one that's publicly spoken about it. It looks like the Princess Royal, Princess Anne, seems to be very much on Andrew's side, if there was a side. And you've got Anne pulling one side, and then you've got William and Catherine, Prince and Princess of Wales, who are very like, get rid of him. You know, we don't want anything to do with Andrew. In fact, we probably don't want anything to do with Beatrice and Eugenie, and we probably want to strip them of their titles. And while we're at it, we'll strip Harry and Meghan of their titles too. So William's very ruthless, whereas Anne's taking on a more Look, I think you've done enough. Andrew's mental health, that's all going to come up. But it seems to be, according to Andrew Loney, it seems to be that Andrew's still in denial. And he's been moved from Royal Lodge now because apparently the king didn't like the fact that he was on his horse all the time and waving to people, and he thought it was inappropriate, so he wanted to move him to the Sandringham estate. But people are saying the king hasn't done enough, the king is too soft, the king knows, and they all knew. Let's get this straight. And the queen, as hard as that may be for people to swallow, Queen Elizabeth, she knew all about this, and she protected her son, and goodness knows who else. And I know that there are a lot of people watching that won't have a word said bad about Queen Elizabeth, and I get that, but I'm afraid the reality is she knew.
Yeah. There's if you wanted to dig deep, I'm sure you'd find plenty.
There's tons.
It's a very sick world, unfortunately, Debbie.
Yeah.
And the ones at the top seem to be the ones that are the most sordid.
Yeah. More to come on the royals. More to
come on the royals. Let's just stick to the communist theme just very briefly before we check our AI song, which it's been made for quite some time. Actually, it's probably been made for the past 40 minutes. To be honest,
it only takes 48 hours to make a personalized mRNA cancer vaccine by AI.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Speedy.
Well, let's in the Prime Minister's question time, Keir Starmer was also pointed a finger about. He enjoyed his trip to China, which we know he did. We know he did, but why did he enjoy it so much?
The Prime Minister looked like he enjoyed his trip. In fact, it looked like a dream come true for a man who was virtually a communist most of his life. But apart from the... Prime Minister looked like he enjoyed his...
I know it's pantomime. I get it. It's panto. But the only time I've ever seen Starmer human is these past couple of weeks where he's actually been taken apart. Yes, that's the only time I've seen human in him.
He was terrified. Do you remember when we showed the footage of him in China? He was absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
He looked absolutely scared to death.
I think he knows his time's up, though. He knows stuff's going to come out.
He's got a nice little nuclear bunker to go to, though. Don't worry.
But they've just sold an island, or just given away an island and given 30 billion. Where's that money going? These people will. I'm not saying it's true because I wouldn't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if they make sure that they're all right when they're out of this job.
I think they probably will be fine. They're certainly not going to be. They're certainly not going to be in the Tower of London. They're certainly not going to be in one of those 5,000 extra prison places that they're busy constructing. That's for sure.
Well, no. And I've got a ton of stuff on Mandelson, Epstein, regarding Bill Gates. I've got loads and loads of stuff. We just haven't got the time to go through it. But honestly, there's so much of it. The man's a disgrace. And then he's on about a vaccine to help girls. There was a clip I've got where he's talking about, we must help girls. Well, help girls? Like, you really give a monkeys about girls?
No, you really don't.
While you try and put some antibiotics in your ex-wife's drink because you've been with Russian hookers. Give me a break.
These people, they actually think, I don't know how they think that we believe them. That's what is so astonishing to me, is that they have no self-awareness at all. They literally think and they believe they're amazing, they're fantastic, they're wonderful.
They disgust me. Okay, let's have a look at our song, shall we? I've got to just say thanks to Dave Round, who's watching this today, because Dave Round told me about this software.
Well done, Dave.
And so I've had a quick look at it last night, and I thought, right, let's have a sample. So here we have. I'm not going to say the name because it'll sound like I'm advertising it. I'm really not. I just want to prove how unbelievable AI is. Obviously, we haven't listened to this. This has just been created, so let's just quickly play it.
Got no
Okay, you get the idea.
I actually quite like it. And you know, my son, who is genuinely a savant rock guitarist, he said to me the other day, he said, I've been listening to AI music, Mum, and it's actually brilliant. And I went, David, how can you say that? That's absolutely, you can't, no, we can't get into this whole AI. And he said, Mum, it is what it is. And he said, and I'm listening to it. And he said, from a musical perspective, he said, from a catchy theme perspective and hooks and solos, he said, it's brilliant. And that was coming from a musician. Scary times.
It really is. Me and Lou were talking about last night, and as you know, Lou's a voice coach, and she's a professional musician herself. And we within seconds we had a song created about our 3 dogs. It brought Lou to tears. Literally brought her to tears. And worrying thing is, people are gonna actually utilize this and say, you know, it's theirs, potentially, rather than AI. Now, I'm going to say live performances are so crucial right now. I would say the grassroots raw musician, the actor, the actress, the ones that are really working hard, they're the people we need to support.
I completely, absolutely agree. I think live music, there's nothing like going somewhere and listening to a live band.
100%.
There's just nothing like
Nothing
it.
like
You
it.
get it's a completely different sensation. Yeah, you can put your headphones on and you can kind of, you know, listen up. But when you're there and you've got the atmosphere, it's a whole experience, and we have to keep it alive. We really have to keep it alive.
We really need to keep supporting that before it's too late.
Yeah.
Really, you know, because like we've talked about many times, they want to try and remove the human.
Yeah, 100%. Well, transhuman.
Well, that's what they want. So this is part of it. And don't get me wrong, it is brilliant.
Yeah,
I could listen to that. It's my kind of music. I could listen to it.
It's convenience, though. It's
convenience, exactly. But this is it. We're lazy. So you could create. It's got a studio, that software. So you could create your own stuff in there, and it'll just.
And that saddens me, because I've seen my son and his band. They rehearse for hours and hours. They're bringing up original songs, you know, I'm seeing them create them.
It's a craft.
Which is all part, and it's the feeling. It's a skill, it's a craft, it's the feeling that goes into it. So to take that away from people, but that's what they want, isn't it? They want to harvest our emotions. They want to take control of our emotions, all for convenience. No thanks.
Absolutely. I know we're out of time, but I just really wanted to make a point out, because I've got so much I wanted to get through today with you, Debbie.
I know. There's the cancer plan. There's all the stuff that's going on in the UK.
There's so much, but there was a really shocking thing happened the other day, which I think, you know, everyone needs to keep an eye on. And I know a lot of us are, but there was a gentleman, you probably saw it, and many of the guys who are watching this right now probably saw it as well. But there was a homeless gentleman that died on the steps of a migrant hotel. Let's just play that.
So, guys, it's Sunday morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning. 1st of February. It's quite an early start for us, guys. We've come to a small protest in Derby to show support. So, you guys, we're at the Derby Midland Hotel in Derby. They've got police, ambulance, paramedics, doctors here. There's a homeless guy currently passed away in the doorway of the hotel. He's actually in the migrant hotel doorway, and he's passed away overnight. Now, that is absolutely disgraceful. It's disgusting. You know what I mean? These people get these hotels for free, you know, and then you got my man, you know, obviously really sad situation, you know. So,
it's horrible.
It is absolutely shocking, and according to the BBC, there are 20,000 asylum seekers that are meant to be in hotels. They're all homeless, but the fact that we've got somebody that's died on the steps of a migrant hotel when they're in there, and everybody will know that watches us, I watch the auditors, I watch what goes on in the migrant hotels, I watch the security. Honestly, they get everything. They're smoking in the hotels. They've got diseases because they're being taken to hospitals. They're getting taxis. They're getting English classes. They're getting recreational support. They're getting social services. They're getting full health care. They're getting tested for this and that, and tuberculosis, scabies, rickets. These people are undocumented. They're undocumented. This is going on in our country. Veterans are on the streets. Even in the very, very cold times, our veterans were on the streets, and these migrants are just walking past them in designer clothes. and they're being helped by the NGOs. You know, this is all a planned, organised operation, and we have hundreds of thousands more migrants heading for our shores. Don't you fret. There's tons more coming. And you know, for people that don't know about Camp 3, you know, we're trying to put as much as we can onto Camp 3 as quickly as we can. And if you go and look at my blog this week on Camp 3, we've got a separate NHS and health section. And I try to cram as much as I possibly can into the blog. But if you look in Europe, Spain have just said overnight yes to 500,000 Pakistani undocumented male refugees. So they are now queuing around the block in Barcelona to get their papers. We've got 20,000 Syrian refugees that are being transported, their words, not mine, transported to Australia. We've got migrants, the movement of people is absolutely, I mean, I don't know, it's on a scale where I think it's too big for us even to see. And now we're talking about, well, we've got too much white in the countryside. So
saw that. Yeah, saw that.
now we've filled our cities. And of course, you know, they want people out. They want the migrants to be welcomed into the countryside. And apparently we're not welcoming because Muslims are scared of dogs. I mean, this is just getting beyond unbelievable. There's also the UK government have just launched Pride in Place, where they're giving councils millions of pounds to plant flowers and make sure the swings and the cycle. I mean, this is making your 15-minute city prison pretty. That's what they're doing. You've got the cancer plan that's just come out as well. So there's so much. Oh, and also in my blog, which is on Camp 3, I recommend a little YouTube. It's just an 8-minute YouTube, and it's about how the driving laws are changing like now. And seriously, folks, if you're a driver, you need to watch this video. It's probably the most informative video I've seen this week, and it's only 8 minutes. Seatbelt laws are changing. Whether you can touch your mobile phone is changing. The fact that they're going to be able to take your license away at the roadside. So none of this, oh, you know, show us your documents, bring in your documents to the police station, wherever 5 days later. Oh, no. And the drink drive limit is changing as well. So the possibility that you could have your car seized at the roadside and your license taken away is now going to be on the cards. And there's a ton more news that this guy, Law for You, he's called, really good, really, really good. I'd recommend a watch. So all of this stuff underneath is going on in this country. The assisted dying bill is going to get pushed through. We need to keep an eye on what's going on in our own country, but also know that Europe is going through very similar. In France, Germany, Spain, everywhere is up in arms. Turin, there were riots, fires. It's crazy.
It really is.
Where do you look at it? I call it a monsoon of news, but you can't catch every raindrop. You just can't.
Well, we're doing our best, and those who have already hit the website, you know, we appreciate it. We've had quite a few subscribe to the site already, so thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. We're going to reply to all of them. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, but you know, we are only 2 at the moment, you know, and we're doing the very best we can. If you go to camp3news.com, Debbie has written already, I don't know how many articles, but quite a lot of very, very incredible in-depth articles. I know Debbie's just kind of left us there for a little bit.
Yeah, I am here.
You are here. You are here. But yeah, please do head over to camp3news.com. We'll try and keep people informed there. Just join the mailing list. It's just a 2-second job, and we'll keep you as informed as we possibly can. We are looking for people to get involved as well, you know, because we want this to be about the people. This is about the ground news, and it's about authentic news. It's about the people at the end of the day, because we're in very tricky times and we don't know who to trust at the best of it. So we're trying to make it as authentic as we possibly can, and that can be the only way, I feel.
Yeah, we're not seeking to divide anybody. We're not wanting to put, you know, people say, oh, you know, going to label people. No, this is an awareness. This is Camp 3 framework of awareness, as Dr. David Hughes has absolutely, I mean, he coined it all. He's amazing. So we're here to unite. We're not here to divide. Everybody's welcome. providing you're authentic. And that's all we ask for, is authenticity, and we'll do our very best. But we've always said there are only 2 of us, and we are working. We're doing probably 6 people's work at the moment. So if there's anybody out there that can help with the website and maybe contribute articles, and anybody just wants to, we've already had some amazing emails and some very informative emails, too, very interesting emails, and we'll be getting back to those people. But most people have said they embrace Camp 3, including lots of other contributors as well, have come to us and said, oh, we love what you're doing. So we're really honoured that people are embracing it, but we're truly not trying to divide anybody. We're just trying to get to the truth, and we're trying to bring you authentic truth, because who do you trust now? And I've actually written a little article on Camp 3 called Authentic versus Alternative. So go and have a look at that, because things changed after COVID. So, and it's all up for comment, it's all up for debate. So this is just my hypothesis. So go and have a look, see what you think.
Well, we're gonna wrap up now, because we've gone longer than we normally will. We'll see you all next week at the same time for next week. However, we always try and end on a little bit of a funny. Do stick around. This is by it's an AI thing again, but it's by a company called Crewkern Gazette, or an X profile, and it's a nice song to end on, and a nice AI video to end on, a bit of fun. So thanks again for everyone that's joined us, and we'll see you next week.
You will, and keep smiling.
Keep smiling.
I remember all my life, falls raining down as cold as ice, shadows of a lord, a face in Epstein's files, leaking in the night. The night goes into morning, just another day. Tourists grilling my way, looking in their eyes, see a memory. I never realized how you spun things for me. Oh man, well you came and you lied without breaking, but I sent you away. Oh man, well you leaked to Jeff and stopped me from shaking, and I need you today. Oh Mandy, I'm standing on the edge of resign. I've walked away when